They hit on a lot of points. Let's address the elephant in the room. Is marriage a business or is it just for love?
It's the most important business decision you will ever make.
By the way, we have a guest co-host. Globe Spinner is in the house. This actually was his idea. We were chopping it up offline. And I said, you know what? We need to address this. I don't think anybody ever addressed, prenups and what to do with your assets, all the stuff you built up. So welcome Global Spinner to the room as our
All right.
guest host. Now, what you got to say, is marriage a business or not?
I think it's both. It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Marriage is not as traditional as we thought it was with our parents and our grandparents, and so we go into it sometimes with our blinders on, in the mindset of focusing only on love, but we don't focus enough on our protection of our assets, and like we talked about a little bit earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a rookie when it comes to this. I'm like, I got a lot of questions, and I wanted to present it to the audience, present it to the panel, and see what you guys think.
Right. All right. So, in my humble opinion, this is my opinion. I believe, like Fearless just said, marriage is both. Marriage is one of the most, the, it is the hugest decision you can possibly make.
Right.
You're giving somebody access into everything as a man you build. You built. She has access to all your secrets, how your business is run, who your contacts are. She could literally dissect your whole business if she got into it like that. So yeah, all those years of building and earning and struggle can be ripped apart by one woman with an attitude when it comes to y'all just ain't getting along. So absolutely, it can be for love. You might love the chick, but at the end of the day, if she don't respect the fact that you built something, you're going to leave her whole. Now, a prenup doesn't mean that you're going to leave her with nothing.
Right.
That's what the prenup is about. It's to pre-negotiate some of the terms of if something was to happen based on these parameters, you're going to get this, 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 and this. Okay.
Absolutely.
Prenups also prevent, if you have a partner in a business, from the woman going in and disrupting your business acumen and everything that was going on with your partner. You guys had agreements. She wants to turn everything upside down and cause that business to fail, which means whatever goes in your trust and whatever that business was producing for, even whatever you had planned after you had died to pass it on, she could go and mess it all up. So there's a lot of things you have to take in consideration, and it's not inhuman or unemotional. If you watch that video, what did she do? She turned on the waterworks right off the bat. She's trying to gain an advantage in the argument by crying. I hope you guys aren't simps today. I really do. I really hope you guys don't fall for the okey doke. Every time you get into a discussion with her, with your woman, and it's a serious one, if she tries to postpone the conversation by changing the subject or turn on the waterworks, and you say, okay, we won't have to talk about today. No, y'all need to talk about it. And her actions kind of demonstrate a lot when she does that. What do you think about that, Fearless? What do you think about the waterworks she turned on when he brought that up?
If you getting mad over that now, just if that's how she acting before the marriage, just imagine how she gonna act through that divorce.
All right.
She gonna try to take it all.
Right.
So I don't think a lot of guys plan ahead, but you have to think more than that, man, because marriage is more than just that. Especially if you have children, just like every year I have to set up or change or make sure how I'm gonna allocate any beneficiaries that go. What kind of living will do you have? I've helped out at a funeral home before in my younger days when I was doing some advertisement, and I remember a woman had died, and she had, I guess, maybe divorced the husband 20 years ago. She worked for J.C. Penney's, and she kept him as a beneficiary on some, death
On
benefit.
life insurance, yep.
Yep.
They do it all the time.
And the family was mad because he was like, I ain't taught this woman 20 years, cremate her. I don't care what you do with it. Give me that money. And so people don't understand, and they were upset. The family was upset because it's like, well, you're getting this money, you should take care of her. And they wanted to come at the funeral home to say, you shouldn't do this. And they're like, we have no say. This is something that she should have changed. So a
Right.
lot of people don't understand that. Even if you have children, and you know you have a wife and you want to make sure that your child gets some money, because just imagine, say I pass away right now and my wife is a total beneficiary. Well, shoot, she might be enjoying that money with her new man, and my kid, who I really was hoping would benefit from it, that money gone by the time they 18. So you gone, there's no money for the kid, but that new man, he done ran through all your money with her. So those are things that I don't think guys think about. A lot of guys don't have a will. Not only don't they have a will, even through work, we have free, in a sense, free life insurance, accident,
Right.
death insurance, things like that.
Even
They
your
don't
bank
put any of that
sometimes will
down.
cover you for a small burial fee.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They send those out all the time, and they'll cover you for a portion, and then you can upgrade it. Obviously, they're going to get a kickback for that, but it's
But I
still
think
something that you think about.
most of the people who get married, let's think about the billionaires. Jeff Bezos, when he got married,
Hmm.
he ain't had no money.
No,
He started Amazon in his garage. Elon Musk didn't have money. Uh, what's the
so many of them, man. I'm
yeah,
telling you.
Cuban, the basketball guy? He was shacked up with three of his friends in a one-bedroom apartment, so he didn't have any money. So a lot of guys just never
Steve
imagined.
Jobs, I don't think came from money.
Mm-mm.
Matthew Bill Gates didn't
He
come from
yeah,
money.
now he had a little money. Bill had a little.
Not
He went to
much
Harvard.
though.
He went to Harvard. He had a little bit of money. I
That
mean,
could be
he ain't had
scholarship,
what
bro.
he had now.
There wasn't a lot.
Oh, nah. His family had money. That's how he was able to do that computer. So he
But
had it. But the thing
Go
still
ahead.
becomes,
Hold on.
I just wanted to piggyback off what Fearless was saying. I think people just really need to have those hard conversations early on in a relationship before you get married. Maybe
Mhm.
somewhere in between you dating this prospective mate to being engaged, you need to sit down. And if she speaks another language or she comes from a different culture, you shouldn't just throw a prenup in front of her face before you get married. You need to sit
Right.
down and have time to actually break it down and explain to her that this prenup is not to exclude you from receiving anything. It's just to allocate assets, and it's to make sure that if you decide to leave the marriage early, certain things you will receive and certain things you won't receive. Maybe you could possibly put a clause in there, that anything that was earned prior to the marriage, that you wouldn't have access to that.
Right.
But you have to break that down, and you have to speak to a lawyer, whether it's her country or your country, and then that all depends on if you're going to get married in her country or in your country. Are you going to bring her back? Are you going to do the fiance visa? Or are you going to get married abroad in the Philippines or Colombia? So I think all those different things with your partner, you can't be afraid to have those deep level conversations. And if that becomes a problem, that should be part of your vetting. That should be a red flag.
Exactly. Exactly. And those conversations should be had early, like you said. Um, some of the things we kind of broached on, and we're gonna go into a little more in depth in a little while. But you guys are talking about living or trust and wills and all these different things. A lot of people don't realize you need a power of attorney, a living power of attorney. What happens if you're medically incapacitated? Your family thinks you want one thing, but your wife, being close to you, you've had this discussion with her. She knows you don't want to be resuscitated. You don't want to live like a vegetable on a machine for years on end. Families will drag that out as well.
Right.
So that has to be discussed, whether you're going to have a resuscitation, how you want to be buried. whether you want to be cremated or you want to have this big old funeral for whatever reason. I already told my family I want to be cremated. I don't give a damn about, pomp and circumstance. I'm gone.
Right.
So those are the kind of discussions, even though they're morbid, those are long-term discussions that you don't know if you get hit in the head tomorrow with a pipe or something. And next thing you know, you're unable to communicate what your real wishes were. They need to be written down for yourself, even if somebody was to find it,
right.
Within your family. Those are things you guys should think about. I'm going to play this next clip. This is a divorce attorney, and he's quite famous, but it's not the one you're thinking of. Take us back down real quick.
Postnups are the prenup you should have had. There's the people that didn't get around to the prenup. We were so busy picking the cake and the flowers and doing all the fun stuff, we forgot to water the plant. Like, we forgot, oh my gosh, we really should do this. So now we want to do that. People have been married for a period of time, however long that might be, and they go, we kind of don't know the rule set. We should actually have that in place so we both feel comfortable, we both understand it. Third group is people who've encountered a moment in their marriage where it's fragile. And we say, okay, if we split up, here's what it's going to look like. You're going to be, because there's what you need, there's what you want, and there's what you're entitled to. This makes sure we're going to have what we need.
So what do you guys think about that? The postnup. It's not just a prenup. There's a postnup too. So you forgot, like you said, you got busy. You didn't have enough time to present her. Like you said, you cannot slam a prenup in front of a woman a week before a marriage,
right,
and think she's had a legal enough time to review the prenup. It will get thrown out immediately. She needs at least 2 to 3 months. It has to be signed 2 to 3 months before the marriage. Yeah. Okay? Do not do this overnight. Do not do this the night before. It needs to be signed. And if she keeps putting it off and saying, oh yeah, I'm going to sign it, then you need to push your date back.
Right. Absolutely. I like what he mentioned about, what you need, what you want, and what you're entitled to. You know what I'm saying? Those are 3 different topics in that conversation that you may need to have with her. Yeah.
Now my question comes this. How do the kids play in that? Because I've seen guys get divorced or go through a divorce. It's in their house. And the judge will say, the woman will say, oh, I'm feeling threatened. They'll make him leave his house. And doesn't matter what that prenup says, he's still paying mortgage on his house that he doesn't live in.
Right.
What if the prenup says, oh, we're supposed to divide this? Can the judge come in and say, well, for the best interest of the children, we're going to let them stay there because, they're accustomed to living there. So
depends if you're both income earners or not. If she's going to take over the responsibility, and this is my opinion and my opinion alone, by the way, I'm telling everybody this is our opinion. Okay. We are not legal advice. We're not attorneys. So at the end of the day, seek legal advice when getting a prenup and getting all the information. This is just surface level stuff we're talking about to get your minds and your juices flowing about potentially what you might want to think about doing before you cross that aisle if you're ever going to get married.
Right.
Okay. So I would think obviously the judge is going to do what's best for the children. And of course, the law has been weaponized against men. We all know this. Everybody's heard stories or have friends of friends that have been affected by the weaponization of the law.
Right.
Whether it be for child support or, she said you hit her and she gets you arrested just to be vindictive to you because she's mad at you. We've heard all kind of stories like that. So yeah, absolutely. It's a concern. And when you're going through something like this, even if you don't know your woman can be that way, you always have to think, I need to keep myself at a level-headed emotional level to where I know I'm going through something. I might not like it, but I need to get through it unscathed. I've been through 2 divorces. It's never come to that. Okay. But I've always had a level head where, I've always been able to take care of myself, even if my wives didn't want work, and they did not work. So yeah, they stayed in the home. I moved out. until the divorce was final.
Right.
And we let the judge, based on our conversations, and it was never arguments. One was just a sign quick and boom, out. That was after 9.5 years. Wasn't even an argument there. My 6-year one, that wasn't an argument. And I had 3 children with her. So it's all in how you manage, and the woman knows that what she can and cannot get and what's unreasonable. So far, even though I might have gotten divorced, they were level-headed women. I feel for some of you all that get married to the ones that are not level-headed women.
Right.
But I'm going to rest right there. But go ahead, Global or Fearless. What do you have on that
Yeah,
question?
I was going to tell you, a lot of guys, I know I heard somebody saying before, they thought that they wanted to put in something about the child care. Oh, we get divorced, I get the children this way, and you get them this way. No, can't do that in prenup. Prenup doesn't won't regulate that. Also, you stated, hey, if I want to get one overseas or we're doing this, well, you bring your girl back. One thing you better make sure of, that she has somebody who is translating that in her language.
Right.
So if she doesn't have that person translating in her language, she can say, I didn't understand what I was signing. I was just reading something over here where it says, I was wondering if, if I said, hey, I have a house, what happens if I have a house in divorce? It says, even if your prenup states you get the house, a divorce judge could potentially adjust the property division to include your spouse in some of the share of the house, especially if you have children. Because courts prioritize the best interest of the child. So I think that's, a lot of people think, oh, this is the end all be all. But sometimes that judge can come in there and say, well, yeah, nope. So it will help you, but there's still going to be limitations.
I just wanted to say that depending on, the language that your girlfriend or your significant other speaks, I think you should have it written in your language and her language. That way she signs both copies. I'm not an attorney, but if, for example, she speaks Spanish or Portuguese or Tagalog, I would have an attorney have her sign 2 copies, one in English and in her language. Also,
that's not actually a bad idea.
Right.
But I mean, I get it.
And that way it throws out she didn't understand because she signed it in her language as well. A lot of guys, no, I was listening to a taping of Andre from Love Crosses Borders. And one thing that I wanted to mention is that the debate has always been, do you bring them here and marry them in the States, or do you marry them abroad? And he mentioned that a law has changed recently in Colombia to where now Colombia has no fault divorces. So, of course, that's a different caveat to what we're talking about. But
well, no, we're going to touch on it because I was about to go down it once you got done with this, because you just hit on foreign marriages. So I'm going to go down the list here.
Right. So my thing is that you may not have the benefit that you think you had if you married them there, because they have laws that you may not know about, where maybe the judge can throw out the prenup as well. So you may have to talk to an attorney in her country. You know what I'm saying? So it's just different things depending on where you're going to get married. But yeah.
So just to add to what he's saying, I looked at the big 5. What are the big 5? And the big 5 we're talking about is Colombia, Brazil, Dominican Republic, Thailand, and the Philippines. The majority of the time, that's where a lot of brothers are going. That's where a lot of brothers might get hooked up into. Do they recognize prenups, and are they enforceable? All 5 of those countries absolutely do. Now, depending on the country, they have their stipulations on whether it's legally binding in their country based on their laws of marriage versus the United States. So this is where what Global Spinner adds to having an attorney in that country review the prenup to make sure it's in accordance and guidance of that country. Personally, I would. I'm tossing this around right now because it's something I'm gonna have to deal with, and I know it's something Fearless has already dealt with, and he'll share that with you if he feels comfortable. But I'm thinking of filing. I'm actually getting married in that country, I'm not getting married here in the United States. Absolutely not. Okay. And the country I'll probably be getting married in doesn't believe in divorce, and it can't be filed by her. I would legally have to file it in the United States and present the paperwork to her to recognize the divorce. Even if I was divorced here in the United States, she would still stay married in her home country. I would have to present the paperwork and go to the court with her to file it as it is a legally binding contract to let her out of her obligation in marriage, or she would still be listed as being married until I did that. So I could actually screw her over if I wanted to, but that's not the point of that. So yeah, Colombia has a prenup agreement. And I can't speak the Spanish name, as I think it's called Captuadas Matrimonials or something like that. And it's recognized and it outlines access of distribution on down the line. Brazil, Dominican Republic. Now I do know in Dominican Republic, I don't know if they changed this law. There was a story of an older wealthy man. He had gotten married to a young woman, and the marriage lasted a long time. But the older gentleman was a little foxy. He actually went to the Dominican Republic, where I don't think you have to have both parties there in order to file for divorce. Now, don't quote me. I don't know if that's rock solid, but he initially got the divorce in the Dominican Republic without telling his wife they were divorced. They stayed together for another 20 years. She goes to file for divorce. He's getting older. He's not being able to get around anymore. So she goes to file. Come to find out, they've been divorced and living together for 20 years. Almost like the guy, I think his name is Hamika. He was a soccer player. He took all his assets and put them in his mother's name. So when his wife turned around to try to divorce him, there were no assets. His mom owned everything. So there are some slick guys out there that try to pay attention to different laws of different countries. And it looked like Fearless, you're about to interject. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you get yours off.
No, I was gonna say I don't know if that's true in DR. You got to have both consenting, but also in Dominican Republic, your assets acquired before the marriage and during the marriage are community property.
Right.
So if you came in as a millionaire, that means as soon as you got married, half was going to her. So you gotta be real careful.
Let that sink in, fellas. Yeah. Everything that you made before, during, and after, she gets half if you don't set that up in the DR.
Some guys that thought, oh man, I'll just live with her. Well, if a girl lives with you 6 months,
common law.
Right.
Common law. She already gets half.
And I know in Colombia, they do recognize common law as well. So just getting around not doing the civil marriage in Colombia, if she's lived with you for a certain period of time, I think it's either 6 months or 12 months, she can register the common law marriage. And that can screw you over in a couple ways as well, because now she's registered that you guys live together, you're married common law wise, but you don't have any benefits of even extending your visa, because they were saying that only when you do the civil marriage, then you can get that extension on your visa from a marriage. But if you do the common law, it doesn't automatically extend, or I think it's extended to a citizenship if you wanted to get a second passport. You know.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play the next video. It's a little bit long, but it gets into the mindset of how women think.
Here are lessons learned and advice I would give my 20-year-old self about life, happiness, and marriage. We now have options. Marriage is not the end all or the golden ticket to your happiness. Instead, focus on enjoying life, travel, learn a lot of things that you enjoy, relax more, and don't take life too seriously. If you want to have children, you'll definitely want to consider marriage. And that should only be the reason why you'd want to get married to someone. But before you get married and have children with a person, consult an attorney and get a prenup, because marriage has an over 50% failure rate. You have to anticipate and plan when you have to exercise your right to exit, to make sure that you are covered financially, as well as your children are covered financially. Learn how to develop emotional intelligence and learn how to Regulate your nervous system. The sooner that you learn, become aware, and master this, life will be more enjoyable for you as you get older. Being in your 40s is not old at all. I happen to be 46 years old, and I feel like my life is just getting started. So to feel youthful in your mid-40s, then you need to start taking good care of your health and adopt a lifestyle that will help you become balanced physically, emotionally, and mentally fit. Spend more time outdoors. Spend time with plants, with trees, sit on rocks, and even get into the ocean. And finally, learn money management. It's not all about the money, but for you to be secure in this world, you need to have a good solid footing and management of your money. Make sure you have set aside reserves only just for you. This is your in case of an emergency fund, as well as your long-term retirement plan and funds. If you decide you do want to get married, make sure to exclude all of your properties, your businesses, your financial assets from your marriage agreement and protect it with a prenup. This will help you remain financially secure in an event you have to file for divorce and your marriage doesn't work out.
All right, fellas,
They
how
already
you
have
feel
their
about that?
prenup. Those women already have their prenup. They just putting their money aside for rainy days.
Hello.
They've already done
She
it.
did misspeak at the very end when she said exclude pre-owned. No, you have to include, because if you don't talk about it and you deceive the person from including it as part of the assets that are being discussed in the prenup, then it's a null and void situation. We're going to go over that in a little while, but I think she just misspoke when she said exclude versus include. What you think about that, Will? I mean, Global.
I mean, like we mentioned earlier, I think that you have to go in with that mindset that that's something I need to not only discuss but also plan. I always, warn and caution guys. It's fine, finding you a girlfriend, getting engaged, but you need to slow things down a little bit so you have time to kind of, go over those things. And as you mentioned earlier, you can't just throw that up in her face right before. Even if, say, for example, you decide to bring them to the States and you want to do a K-1 visa and you have 3 months to marry them, right? So you can't just the last month, decide to throw that in her face. So you may need to start having conversations as early as possible so she has an understanding of your intentions and that she's on board with it and she's cool with it. So that way, when you present it to her, it's not a problem or something that she needs to take a long time to decide because you've already discussed this with her. Now, I do think that it's a good idea to make sure you have a copy in your language and her language. I don't know if, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if you have to have it that way or not, but I would advise maybe getting it translated in her language as well. So that way a judge can't throw it out later down the line saying that she didn't really understand the language well. Because, for example, my personal girlfriend, she doesn't speak English very well. You know what I'm saying? So I would have to put it in her language so she get a complete understanding of that, so that way I'm not trying to pull one over on her.
Oh, okay.
I put this in there. I'll read what it says. Yes, if you are living in the Dominican Republic and you have assets in the USA, your Dominican wife could potentially be entitled to that portion of the assets in divorce, depending on the laws where you live at. That's like whatever jurisdiction.
Right.
Even if the divorce proceedings happen in the Dominican Republic. So it's crucial to consult a lawyer in the U.S. jurisdiction to understand your rights.
Yeah.
So
well, mine's Colombian, so.
So in Thailand, it's a little different.
Go
In
ahead.
Thailand, it's a little different. The combination, so it says default regime is a combination of separate and community property. Assets acquired before marriage remain separate, while those acquired during the marriage are jointly owned. So if you're from another country and you already had assets, she can't go back and try to go get those in their country. Now, if she lived in the United States, it could be a different thing because then if the United States recognizes your marriage because you done the marriage certificate and everything and filed it with the country, then you just turned her over to U.S. law.
So it still says the same in Colombia. It just says they may have a difficult time accessing your things, but
Right.
you get one of them lawyers. I was looking at a law firm on here, and they spelling it out. Not for your behalf. They spelling it out almost like for a woman. Like, look, before you divorce, it's like, look, before you divorce, make sure you find out his foreign bank accounts, any second homes he has. So they giving them the rundown of all of those
Yeah.
things that they want you to
Right.
find out before the divorce, so
Hmm.
that they can have they can get a hold of that.
So
Now,
I looked up
now,
the Philippines too, and the Philippines is all assets owned by the spouse become jointly owned upon marriage, unless a prenup agreement is otherwise inclusive in the marriage filing. Here's the thing: when you do a filing for your marriage certificate, the prenup should be signed and also included with that filing of marriage. It needs to be on the record that there was a prenup before the marriage. So when you go to get the certificate for your marriage, that prenup needs to be in hand and should be signed. But go ahead. What were you going to say, Global?
no, I was going to mention about Colombia because I'm kind of reading up on it right now. It says that, of course, Colombia is community property country, which means that its assets acquired during a marriage or domestic partnership are jointly owned by the couple, and this includes civil partnership, and the assets are divided equally upon dissolution. Now, when it says assets acquired before marriage, these assets are not subject to division when dissolving a marriage or civil union. So any assets that were acquired, such as property here or things acquired before, that they're not entitled to.
Right.
So
So Jen Wolf, I guess, or Gene Wolf asked a question about trust estates, no will, probate. Yes, absolutely. I'm a huge component of telling people to put all their assets into a trust. Fuck a will, put it in a trust. You will avoid probate court and all the arguments within your family, talking about how not legitimate that will is. And you have verbally told this person that thing and that other person the other thing. It becomes a big old battle. And guess what? The judge and the lawyers are happy to take a huge chunk of whatever is left in the division of the state for fees.
right.
If you put it in a trust, the trust protects because it dictates how the division of the property, or if it stays in the trust, and based if it was funded by a life insurance policy and it pays all the taxes, and it dictates how much of the estate goes out to each person within the family that's recorded as supposed to be a beneficiary of the trust. It can do a lot of different things all at once and keep you out of the court system. So absolutely, a trust is a must. Once you start acquiring a huge amount of assets, I would start putting things into a trust. And I'm gonna have a live on a trust. I got a guy that does trust, so
That's
that's
what
going to be coming up in the
So
future.
are you gonna when you go to meet your girl, are you gonna make her do a prenup?
That's the thing I said. This is an interesting conversation because this is something we're going to have to talk about.
right.
We might do a
No,
post nut. We
but you
might do a
ain't talking.
prenup because she comes with a lot of talent. So there's a lot of things that I could really, her being younger, and if she decided to walk away, she has just as much to lose as me.
How she
Believe it or
got
not.
just as much to lose? In what sense?
Uh, her talent is beyond. If I helped her develop her talent in certain things, she would be well known very quickly.
Yeah, but
That's all I'm saying.
but that still means she walking away, and she walking away with all the money. Then I mean, it's still to
Not if
protect
we don't have
yourself.
a prenup, right? Then I get to access her income and her wealth.
I don't know
It
how the
works both
laws work, man.
ways. It works both ways, brother. There's so many people that are movie stars that walk away with that movie star's money, and she's a female. Look at what's her name, Holly Berry. Holly Berry's been screwed a couple times by guys.
Dan says he's not sure how they would access it. Well, here's the thing: if you get married, just think about this. I want you
Oh,
to
they
think
got
about the
family
laws.
members everywhere, brother.
Yeah, if you think about the laws, if you get married in another country, can you get divorced in the United States?
Yeah.
So that means the laws follow you.
If
Another
you
example is
go ahead.
do you think that if you have a baby in another country, you think that woman can find, because we just did a whole show on this. where that woman can find you in the United States and sue you for child support? Yes, she can.
Yep.
So if she can divorce you, she can sue you for child support. What makes you think that she can't get assets? Because
She
usually
can.
when you divorce, you'll say when you're divorced, it is like a contract you sign saying, hey, uh, this is everything I own. You know, we split it, and then you sign that. She comes back later, says, no, it wasn't everything you own. Now I want half. Just like the woman who was that woman won the lottery and she divorced her husband. And then later on, she was like, oh, I got this money. And he came back and was like, nah, it don't matter. You won that money when we was together. And she thought she was getting slick. Because he's just like out of the blue. She was like, yeah, I want a divorce. He still got his money.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play this next video because it kind of goes into some of these things we're talking about.
What is the process for marrying someone, let's say that is overseas, where the foreign spouse is in another country and there's a US citizen and they want to get married? What does that look like?
It depends on what you want to do. But if you're willing to get married in your partner's home country, the marriage will be legally recognized in the US as long as it's legally recognized in that country. So what you could do is go there and get married and then start the paperwork process to bring them here. If you wanted to get married in the US, then you would file for a visa for them to be able to come into the US so that then you'd get married here and then you would start the green card process. So it really depends on what your goals are. In terms of like documentation, it's pretty similar what you have to show. But procedurally, it's a little bit different. There's pros and cons to each. But in general, I think the better way is to get married and if they're abroad in their home country to start the process for a couple different reasons.
Yeah. Couple different reasons. I'm wondering what those reasons were.
Yeah,
I already know why I'm doing it, but why would you think it's probably preferred to get married overseas?
That I'm not sure of, because if your goal is to ever come to the United States, it's a longer process.
Right.
You know, because you get married there, and it's a longer process to fill the paperwork out to have them become to the United States.
Right.
If you go there and you say, hey, my intention is to get married, and you know, they get a visa for it. I mean, you can do it as soon as they get the visa issued, but you have 90 days to get married once they get here. But I know people that got married over there, and it took them a few years to get their spouse to the United States.
Right.
And what countries was this that we're talking about?
Colombia, DR,
Yeah.
Mexico.
Okay.
And that's what I'm
Because
kind
what
of
you're
facing now.
what you're dealing with isn't the other countries' laws. You're dealing with the United States.
Immigration and everything else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all the paperwork you have to fill out for the United States to get them here. So it's
But-
just like if you're a person, you say, oh, well, I got my family member and I'm a citizen and I want to petition them to get here. But if family members don't come right away, it might be 3, 4, 5 years before they can get over.
Right. But here's the thing. I think there's some protection in that for American citizens because they know foreigners are looking to get over. This has been going on since I could say, listen, let me say it. A lot of veterans have married a lot of women that have come over here to try to get a green card and they wind up getting divorced. So some of the laws, I believe, and this is my opinion only, are set up to make it a hindrance for women to get married overseas and to try to come over here and get their green cards very quickly. It's a long drawn out process of proof. You have to show that you're involved with the person. You have to do so many different things to show there's a general interaction and love for that person. And you got to prove it to immigration before they give you that green card so quickly. Because it has been proven over and over again that people will marry a United States citizen to get here and then leave the minute all the ancillary timeframes are up. Military men have been doing it for years, and 2 years are up with 2 children. They're out the door. The house is empty, and they got their goddamn green card.
You don't
Go
even
ahead,
need
Fearless.
to get married. I mean, I know people that came over and just said, you know.
I don't want to be with you,
because-
and you're still financially responsible. Yeah.
They They can
But
say,
that's
you know,
actually stopped now too. If you break up with the person you came over with and that was supposed to be financially responsible for you, you're now illegal if you don't instantly leave. They will not let you stay if you're
incorrect.
not with that person.
Incorrect.
I just
That is
heard this not more than 2 months ago.
no, that is not correct. Because what a person can say is that I was brought over here. I'm, you know, and my intentions were great. My intentions were there. Their intentions weren't. And as long as they say that your intentions were, and they started that green card process, it doesn't stop it. Because I know my wife knows a girl. She's and here's how crazy it
Is
was.
she
She came over.
lying though? Is the question.
No, she came over. Here's how it was. She
Okay.
came over on a tourist visa,
Mhm.
overstayed the tourist visa. Then she met some person here and got married. And when they got married, you know, he wasn't even a citizen. He was a green card holder.
Oh
They
God.
started the process, and then he started cheating on her with somebody else. And she's like, "You got to move out." But once he started that process, that's it. Because she's like, "Yeah, my intentions were good." Because he was trying to hold the threat of, "I won't continue the process with you." Don't matter.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, the government's not going to throw you out just because. You know, if I
Well,
said if she leaves you and she starts doing a whole bunch of ancillary stuff, the government's not going to enforce that. They're going
but
to
how you
ask
gonna
her,
prove
she's got
that
to
she
go.
was doing ancillary
The
stuff?
same way she's saying that he's sitting there screwing around on her. What they
She
just
said,
take the
it's a woman.
foreigners.
He was physically
Hold on, they just
abusive.
take the foreigners' word over the American
Once they start
without
that
any kind
process,
of proof.
once they
Where's
start that
reciprocity
process,
at?
once they start the reciprocity was you vetting her before she came. Once they start that process,
That's not necessarily true anymore, especially now.
I'm
And I
just
can
saying.
guarantee, I can almost tell you, probably 2025, when it comes to immigration, there's going to be some radical changes very quickly.
Yeah, that's
Especially they're
what
talking about mass deportation. They're going to make it super hard to bring people back in. I was even telling my girl, I said, you know, with Trump coming in office, it might take 2-3 years to get you over here. We don't know. We don't
but
know what the laws are going to do within the next 6 months to a year based on what his plans are with this immigration thing. Now, he could have been blowing smoke and nothing's going to happen. He did it just to get elected. We don't know. Go
now
ahead.
I was gonna ask you, Ronan, wouldn't that benefit you to apply with your girl for a K-1 visa then? Because as Fearless was saying, if you go the spousal visa route and you go marry her in that country, it
Mhm.
could take you 1, 2, 3 years to get her over here. Whereas if you go the K-1 visa route, it may
Mhm.
take 9 months, 12 months, or a year and a half. But once she come here, she's already good. You know what I'm saying? She has her visa, and I think they have a fast track to getting that green card. Um, I know that I was looking up an article, and you're right. I think laws are changing. Things are changing with this new administration. I think the Supreme Court here in November 5, 2024, Supreme Court rules that there is no constitutional right to having an alien spouse admitted to the United States. So they don't even have to grant you your spouse automatic a green card, or a spousal visa. I think the vetting process is going to be different. It's going to be a lot more stricter.
Yeah. Go ahead, Fearless. I know you're looking up something. I don't know if you're done yet or
No,
not.
I'm that one. I think you may be right where it may become more difficult to get in.
Mhm.
I just don't know how they stop that because well, no, because somehow I don't think they can even apply for citizenship. That would be the issue if they
Well, they're
if they
even
couldn't
taking
apply
away
for citizenship.
excuses like, yeah, the whole foreign baby thing where they fly in while they're pregnant and they're on a tourist visa and they have a baby here. All of a
Right.
sudden, the baby's now attached to being an American citizen. They're saying, nix that shit.
I
I
know
don't care if
Trump
Yeah,
you have
is
the baby
that's
here or
definitely,
gonna be
not.
difficult, man.
Yeah.
That because that was a whole anchor baby thing. That's gonna be
Yeah, the
yeah,
the
anchor baby
problem
thing is
is
a big deal.
the problem is it's in the Constitution.
right. They
That's
got to
gonna
amend the
take
Constitution on
yeah,
that.
and that's gonna be the hard part. I'm not
So
saying
yeah,
it's possible, and I don't agree with it, but that is where, in order to amend the Constitution, you need 2/3, and that 2/3 is hard to come by.
and when they start messing with the Constitution, it's going to be trouble anyway.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That was one of the major talking points of Trump, but
Yeah.
him actually getting that done, that's a different story. You know, Obama, when he was in office, it was hard for him to get stuff done. You know what I'm saying? Especially with that Obamacare, because things kept getting nixed, you know? And so I think that's one of the, with MAGA and some of the right, when they want to see that pass. But if they can't get that done, and legislation wise, then, or amend that constitution, it's not gonna happen. It's just gonna be another talking point.
We're going to do one more hearsay, and then we're going to hear from an actual prenup attorney that reviews prenups before she allows the foreign woman to sign. Hold on.
This is exactly why I propose a prenup. She's always screaming and yelling and can't have a normal conversation. And I can't talk to her, and that's a problem.
Oh, man.
Yes, I love her, but I've had fears about her temper since I've met her. But, well, actually more, since I met her in person.
Are you talking about me? Pack up your things. Get out of here. Get out of here, Jimmy.
If you truly love me, you would listen to my proposal. You didn't even give me
Okay, what is the proposal?
My proposal. And I even write protection for Jasmine. That's the headline. If I was the person that initiates a divorce, you would be giving the highest amount of financial protection. Do you understand that? Now I'm trying to explain to you.
So this means that if I initiate divorce, I'm gonna get the very small amount. That means that I'm stuck with you. If you cheat on me, I have to accept it. I cannot get divorced.
No. It says except for cheating.
I don't want this.
Don't rip that up.
I want this.
You know what? I took a picture of it anyway.
So I would really appreciate if you just take your things and get out of my house.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Because you're a idiot.
Really?
Like all my demons come out because of you.
You cannot even communicate.
The kind of relationship that I have with my exes.
Yell.
I get along even with my exes better than I do with you. They are better people.
Just yell, don't you? It's all you know how to do.
Even like I feel more attracted to my ex even than to you.
Yeah.
And he's better looking than you. And he has even more money than you.
Yeah,
and he's young and he doesn't have sex.
That's everybody's nightmare right there, but that's a weak man right there. What you thinking? I saw you shaking your head right after you saw the brother laying down.
This dude was worried about a prenuptial.
Right. I don't feel sorry for him.
You got the wrong
the masculine energy that she has. He's weak as fuck. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of issues going on with that video.
Yeah,
what y'all thinking?
Dude.
I mean, there's nothing to say. I mean, I mean, he shouldn't even be trying to get married to her. I mean, at this point, she's very masculine energy. If he marries her, she's going to be running the household. She's talking to him any kind of way, throwing stuff at him. And just the very thought of him bringing up a prenup, she balled it up and threw it in his face. I don't know how many red flags you need to see before you just walk away.
Facts.
Divorce said he ain't need no damn prenup. Shit, he want her to get half. Said she don't work hard for it. She worked hard for half of that. I ain't mad at him.
All right, let's play this last one, and this one is about the attorney that's reviewing a prenup and what she's looking for, especially when it's a foreigner that's filing the paperwork.
Right now, I would like to talk about prenuptial agreements when I am a reviewing attorney. What am I looking for? The reason I'm the reviewing attorney because my client, and it's typically the case, has less money, and the high earner, high net worth client is the drafting party and they have an attorney. And then I get about a week or two to review this. And here's what I'm looking into. So let's start with a case where a high earner is sponsoring the lower earner spouse into United States. It's going to be K1 visa. He's going to be assigning affidavit of support. Let's say the drafting spouse and the reviewing spouse. So I'm representing the reviewing spouse. The first page is usually describing when are they getting married, all the statistical facts. And that includes the age, if they were married before, where are they working, and what are the circumstances upon which they're getting married.
So we kind of covered a lot of that before we brought her up and to say what she said. So again, that's the pros and cons of the K1 visa, getting married overseas or bringing them back here and getting married. So Fearless, you are the only person that's currently married on the panel that has a foreign wife. You chose to get married in DR or here in the United States?
United States.
Okay. And did you go through that process or a different way?
Oh, the K1 process, yeah. You go through that.
Okay.
So you have to.
Was it difficult for you to get it done, or was it what?
It can be. So initially, one thing we were just trying to do is like try to do a different kind of tourist visa. Because she had been here, and then her sister even came here previously. Her sister came here years. But, the funny thing is, man, when you go to immigration, it is like mixed emotions with people. You see people coming out, like some people walk out of there like, yeah, yeah. Then you see people crying as they come out. It's crazy. Because
are you serious? People are crying?
Man. Oh yeah, because you figure there's a lot of reasons people may go to get there. There's some people who are in sports, are like, oh, I'm in sports, so I have to go out of the country. There's people who like their family, want to give them a green card, and the government can say no. You can ask for a tourist visa. And they're like, yeah, no, they don't give you a reason at all. So they can actually say to you, like, all right, now some people would get married in that country. I'll give you an example. For you, it's going to be better to get married in the country. Because what they're going to do is they're going to say, this dude is 60, his girl's 20. Yeah.
I ain't 60, by the way. Don't rush me.
Yeah. They're going to look at that, and then they're going to, because what they're going to try to determine is this bona fide marriage?
Correct.
How's it bona fide? What evidence do you have that you guys?
Let me see y'all out together. Let me see some interactions. And there's a lot that you got to prove.
Share. So when you go there, those people don't know you. All they're doing is looking at this older person with this younger person, especially not, I'm not saying you're not a handsome, but just say you're an average looking man and she hot looking girl.
That's something not right with that picture, right?
Yeah, they'll question it, and they don't necessarily have to give you the visa to come there. So you have to show some type of background history, that you've been together. Things like that, but they can deny you, but if they do say good to go, I think they still have some time, but the clock starts ticking when they come to the United States. So once they hit the ground, you have 90 days. So to benefit
you guys got married 90 days after she hit the ground.
Yeah.
And how long had you dated her
90th
before?
Day.
You said you waited till day expulsion.
Yeah, that's what I don't like, Fearless, is that you have that 90-day rule. Like, so I've been dating mine for 2 years. She's 36. I'm 46. I've been dating her since she was 34. She's a college graduate. And so she did try to apply for a tourist visa, and she was denied.
It's man, look, and here's the thing. My wife has a friend that works in immigration, and she was asking like, what's the stipulations? And the only reason she asked because her sister came here on like a student visa. Not a student visa, like those work visas when they come in the summertime, they'll work someplace that for vacations. Like I think she worked at Six Flags in Chicago. She worked in Myrtle Beach. She worked in Pennsylvania camps. So she had been coming here for 5 years straight, every summer, make money, work, go back home. Then when she went to apply, like, well, hey, I've been here 5 years. I done showed y'all that I'm responsible. I go back home. I've never had an issue. Now I want a tourist visa. And they're like denied. It was like, hold up.
Right.
Then I've seen girls who'd had nothing. Like she has a friend that when I was saying they got married, she ain't had nothing. And they're like approved. It's like approved. Wait, she ain't had no money, no car. How did she get here? So it's weird how, how it works, man. It's almost like
Right.
whoever the officer is that goes there.
I think it does, but I was listening to, I don't know if it was TikTok or YouTube, but it was former immigration officers kind of respond, and they were saying that they kind of either incentivize them or they tell them that it's a certain percentage that they have to deny. So I think it's
yeah.
the luck of the
They
draw
only get
of
so
that
much
day.
a month. Yeah, they
Right.
get so much a month to give away. I
mean,
would
because-
give away. That'd be it.
Because to answer your question, like with my girlfriend, she doesn't own anything in
That's the biggest
in
thing.
Colombia, but she's
They
a
want to
college
know that she's going to
graduate.
come back. Yes.
But then prior to dating her, I dated a Brazilian that owns a company, has a house, and they still denied her a few years
Damn.
ago. So
Yeah.
so
Go
I
ahead.
think it depends on the immigration officer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know in the Philippines it's real tough for Filipinos to leave unless they're FWOs. I think it's FOWs or something like that. Something like that. Um, because a lot of Philippine women are ST'd. You know, they're tricked to go somewhere and then they're abused or taken advantage of. So even when you're in the Philippines and you're married to somebody, I've seen way too many YouTubers that have their wives when they go to immigration. Sometimes immigration will hold the wife up, even though she's married, when she's trying to leave the town and she's already married, because they think something else is going to go on. So they'll almost tell them, "No, you can't go. You know, bought your tickets. You know, you're ready to go," and they will stop her from leaving. That's how strict it is, even in their country.
The best way you're gonna get somebody, I mean, if you wasn't sure, is like through some kind of work, they a nanny, and you saying, hey, I want to get the nanny from here, and they'll have to go through one of those places.
Yeah,
Because you
that's
can
the
see a lot
foreign
of
workers thing that I was talking about.
Yeah, so you can get a lot of people who sponsor foreigners to come over and do that work. So that's the only thing, is because you don't know how they're going to change. You don't know what kind of, the circumstances. Now you can go beyond that 90 days, and still get married. It's just after that 90 days, in actuality, they're like illegal. But if they with you and, they ain't doing nothing, they can stay. But that becomes the issue. The clock is ticking once they get over here.
You just waited till the 90th day, though, bro.
Shoot, 90th. That's on 90 days.
Yeah, I already said if I was to pull the trigger, it's going to be in that country, and regardless of how long it's going to take, I'll wait that time. That's just more time of getting the results or figuring out if that's, which I would have already done if I got married to her. But there's no rush. I ain't got nowhere to go, and ain't no rush for me to get back here. If something was to go down like that, but what about you, Global Spinner? You got your Colombian chick you looking at, and if y'all decide to tie the knot, would you do it in Colombia? Would you do it back here in the States?
So I've been doing a lot of research and just listening to vets, guys that are older, and I'm 50-50 right now. She's 100% okay with us getting married in her country. Her thing is, I just want to be wherever you at. So if you want to come live in my country for a year or two, that's cool. Or if you want to do the K1 visa, I'm cool with that as well. And so she's not really putting any pressure on me or anything to bring her to the States. I've been thinking about taking a sabbatical year. I'm an educator, and just, saving up some money, and just going there for a year, because there's a different level of vetting even after engagement. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't like the K1 visa process, because you have to do all your vetting before she comes to the States, because you only have 90 days. So if you wanted to spend time with her or live with her for 6 months to a year prior to marriage, you can't do that with the K1.
Can't do that here, not under that
you
stress.
can do that in her country. So that's where I'm at.
there's things that really even put a more hindrance on you. So one, you are totally financially responsible. So during
Right.
that time, there's a few things they can't do. They can't work. There's no working during that time. So it's not like I can go in and help you support anything. So I mean, you basically just taking care of somebody who can't work. They can't travel back home. So they get up here. Say they get up here, and then the grandmother dies. I mean, there ain't no going back to the funeral. They can't leave. They can't leave because they don't have a way to get back. That visa is like a
Mhm.
one-way pass.
Right.
So they become stuck until that time. And like you said, you just with somebody. I mean, they it's nothing. They ain't going nowhere. They at your house all day. Like they would do. I'm at your wife's house all day.
Exactly. That's why he's got a perfect name.
They at your house. They not moving. And then they don't have any friends. So you like the only person.
Entertainment, right?
Yep.
Everything. You're a provider. But that's a good way of
No driver's
getting. Yeah.
license. No, nothing.
No going to work. None of that.
Mm-mm.
I'm no. I'm good with that though. But like I said, I'd probably get married in the country that the woman is from. And right now I got a poll going on. And so far, out of the people that are voting, married overseas is probably the better option than most to getting married here in America. Right now it's 67 to 33%. So if you're still in the room, hit the poll that I
My
put
thing
up.
is, what do the people think they're gaining? Say you get married overseas.
Mhm.
If the woman can still take your money, if
Can
she can
she?
still take any property, why can't she? You don't think if Andre got divorced, his wife can't take none of that?
She can take whatever she's got in Colombia, but if she don't have a green card, how's she gonna come back here and wreck everything he got here?
Man, a lawyer. What you mean?
But
A lawyer?
firstly, the country has to recognize that they're married. If you don't give them a marriage certificate to prove that you married and file it with the United States government, they're
No,
not
you do
going to
not.
necessarily
No, brother,
recognize
you
you.
are wrong, wrong,
Okay.
wrong. I don't know where you're getting that from. Because you can go anywhere and get married as long as the woman just told you what she said. As long as that marriage is recognized in that country that you got married in.
Meaning that agreement, I forgot what the agreement was that's between all these different countries. That's the
Yeah,
only reason it would be recognized.
you get, and there's American citizens who get
I don't
married
know.
in other
Passport blueprint is
countries.
still in here.
What do you think when people say, "Oh, I'm going to Jamaica. We're having our marriage in Jamaica"? You don't think that marriage is valid? American citizens get married in Jamaica. That's a valid marriage. So that don't mean nothing as long as it's recognized in
Right.
whatever country you got married in.
But it's only going to be valid until you register it in your country. So, for example,
No,
if you get married abroad, right, you don't, you don't, um, register it back in the States. I mean, it's valid in that country or in her country, but how valid is it in United States? No.
register. I'm going to
And that's
show
just a
you.
question.
I just said what law or foreign country is
I got it right here. I'll show you.
international committee.
I'll share this
And I
screen
asked that
so you
question
guys
because
can
I've heard
see.
a lot of guys say,
International.
marry them abroad.
Here it
Don't bring.
goes. Right here. Do I have to register my marriage in the U.S. if I get married abroad? No. You do not have to register your marriage in the U.S. if you get abroad. The United States doesn't have a national marriage registry of marriage. Marriages that are legally performed in another country are generally recognized legal in the United States. Exactly what I said. This recognition applies to marriages in any country as long as they follow legal marriage laws of that location. Told y'all, man. Y'all think y'all be slick that y'all getting out of stuff. Don't matter. You think, oh, I got married in Jamaica. It don't count. Oh, yeah, it counts. It counted. And I think that's what a lot of guys think they avoiding. Like, oh, yeah, I got married in that other country. So, she coming after me. That don't really mean anything. Yeah. That doesn't mean nothing. So that's. What do you think? What happens when people, you see? All right, I've seen people get married on a cruise, and anybody who has been on a cruise, the ship is never registered in the United States. Every cruise ship is registered somewhere else. That's why if you ever get on a cruise ship, you'll see they'll fly a flag that is not the United States flag. It's whatever flag they're registered at. They'll fly two flags to whatever country they're going in, but that main flag is the one they're registered at. So if you get married on a cruise ship, you're not getting married in.
That's what it's called. It's called the Hague Convention. That's why a lot of these agreements came up between so many different countries. But it does state that the treaty does specifically address the recognition of foreign marriages, and if you're a member of the Hague Conference in private international law, which deals with various aspects of family law, including international marriages and divorce. And that's why even when you have children abroad, if the woman knows enough about you, she can file with the United States through a lawyer and get child support for that child in the country they're in.
But from my understanding, Colombia is not part of the Hague Convention for child support, right? I know Brazil is and DR, but I don't think Colombia is part of that.
We just went through this, and I just don't remember the particulars of.
I'm looking at that.
I mean, and it's
I'm
not
going
that
back to my
no one's-
searches.
Yes, Colombia is party to multiple Hague conventions, including the Hague Convention on Civil Aspects and International Child Abduction. So they're part of it. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see for marriage. Did we say marriage? What was it? Marriage or child support?
Child support. They have to know your name at least to file backwards through the state. I mean, through their attorney.
Yes. Yep. That's what they have it. They are.
Okay.
Which says, yes, Colombia is a signatory in the Hague Convention on Civil Aspects of International Child Abduction, which means it's part of the Hague Convention system regarding child custody issues, child support, and enforcement of international cases.
You know, just for background, this is what started this whole conversation between me and Global offline was an article that was written about Susan Orman talking about even if you're broke, you should have a marriage prenup before marriage. So it went into the financial aspects of why it's better to have a prenup even if you're broke.
But even the lead attorney says you get a prenup for who you plan to be, not for who you are.
Exactly. Right. So that's what started that. And then we went down the rabbit hole about, you know, being overseas and being married or prenups and all that other stuff. So this is how the show developed. And this is the discussion we're having today. We're an hour and 15 minutes in. I don't know if we want to open up the panel. You guys feel comfortable to talk about
minutes.
Yeah.
I won't stay too long, but I still think, you know, I think a lot of guys, and I'll say it again, who are saying, oh, I'm going to get married, I'm going to keep her over there. I don't know what it is they're trying to protect, because it can't be assets, can't be child support, because even if you have a child, let's say you get married over there and you and her have a kid, and you're like, man, forget this chick, I'm out of here. And she know that you've been getting your Social Security, your retirement, or whatever it is you've been getting, because y'all married.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think she can, you know, a lawyer? I want y'all to imagine this. Over here, a lawyer paying like $100 an hour. Over there, it might be $100 a month. So
exactly, she cheap.
It's a little bit,
it's a little bit
easier for her to be like, I just need to file some paperwork. Okay. And don't think that, you know, now everything is done electronically. They don't have to step foot in the United States. They can file that electronically. So, you know, I understand, and I think it's just a fear that the guys think if I bring over here, she'll just leave me. Well, you know what? To be honest, I would rather bring her here and she leaves me like in that first, before 90 days. She be gone. Hey, that's much better than me. You get over here, like the guy who brought his girl over here, and she now left doing prostitution or something crazy like that.
Yeah. But
Shit, I'd
That's
be
insane.
happy.
but typically they don't leave in 90 days though. Normally they'll wait out 2 years or a couple years to get their green card, get established, or they may wait 5 years. I think that there were a couple of talking points that I heard recently. It was that okay, she leave after she gets her green card, or she stays a little while longer, but she changes because America and the stress of being in this system here changes her from being the person that you fell in love with. And so I think some of the other podcasters that I heard, they were saying, why would you bring them and put them in this system when you're trying to get away from it, or you're trying to find that submissive woman or cultural woman in the Philippines or Colombia, and more naturally she's going to change after a couple of years and she's here. So that's
Right.
been one of the issues.
Well, the divorce rate in Colombia is the even out of wedlock rate is one of the highest. Divorce rate is one of the highest. Let me see
Wow.
the divorce rate. What is, because I just looked.
So while you're looking that up, I had another poll and it said, would you marry overseas or in America? 71% said overseas, 28% said America. My newest poll that I just put up, the final one is, are you planning on having a prenup before you get married? It could be a prenup or postnup, either one. Are you planning on having one of the two?
13th in the
So
world.
Lux Travel says marrying abroad has benefits of being able to live visa free in a country. Marrying an American has tax benefits, economic benefits, as well as many legal protections you don't have when you're single. I don't know about live visa free. You do have to pay for a visa, married or not, overseas. So I don't know where that part comes in. But yeah, even if I was to get married overseas and I wanted a permanent resident visa, I could file under her, which means I'm still attached to her. I would do it separately. So if something did happen and I didn't want to be attached to her, she can't have my visa revoked if I like that country.
Right.
There's a variance in that too. You file under your spouse in that country, you're still attached to her, just like you would be financially responsible for her here. She's going to be legally responsible for you being present in that country because of y'all's marriage. Y'all, something happened, y'all dissolution, and that visa could be revoked by her. If you do it separately of that, you won't ever have to worry about her revoking your visa. You got it on your own.
Right. And also, guys got to keep in mind that if you live in that country, it could be 3 to 6 months. It varies based on the country. You will have to be susceptible to paying taxes in that country. So it just depends on how long you're staying in that country. If you own property, if you work online, like some of them, if you have a digital nomad visa, you may not have to pay very, very much taxes, but you still have to look into that and talk to a professional in that country, because if you're living in that country for a year and you're not paying any taxes, could cause you to get in some trouble.
That's an interesting question I was going to ask you, Fearless. Did you use an agency or some kind of person to help you file that paperwork, or did you do it all on your own?
I did it by myself. I wasn't paying them people. They're charging $5,000 to pay some paperwork I can look up online. I was like, what am I paying you for?
I mean, was it hard paperwork to figure out, or was it pretty straight up?
It's pretty straight up. Once it's pretty straight up. But they have you trying to do things that really never ever work. Like they'll say, oh, if you wanted to get somebody on a tourist visa, won't you write a letter form and petition? Man, then people don't look at none of that. That's like, yeah, we don't look at none of that. But it's just a straight PDF form. And, like on a PDF form, it'll say, oh, this is what question 1 means. This is what question 2 means.
Yeah, it gives you the directions on the back on most government documents.
Correct. So. I think all the lawyers do is, since they filed the paperwork so many times, they just know what to ask you for. Like they'll be like, hey, have you ever been married before? Do you have any children? Do you have this? So the questions that they're asking you is basically they're just gathering your information to fill the form right back out. So I think that's a lot of people just don't have that information.
So it's a money grab for the attorneys if you're lazy. Then they'll just take your money just because you could basically do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like I was going to help one of my friends out with filing for what was it called? A writ of mandamus. And that just means that like there's something like was late with the government. And we went to the attorney. They're like, yeah, 5,000 for us to file it, and then if we got to go to court, another 5,000. Like what? Like what kind of paperwork is this? I looked at the paperwork, like with the
Couple
courthouse.
page document and you're done.
Yeah, I was like,
And
bro,
some forms you got to
Chat
submit.
GPT, it'll fill it out for you, and then once you fill it out, everything else is just, the simple. Now it may be that the attorney can, well, not even on that, because that's just the judge's decision, nothing else. So maybe if you don't win that, then yeah, you can get the attorney to come in and fight some legal rights. But
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, it was just pretty straightforward.
Yeah, Phyllis, I'm gonna have to talk to you, later on the back chat. But I remember, I want to say sometime this year, earlier in 2024, I talked to an attorney on the phone, and they charge like here in Florida like 5,000 right off the bat. And I remember
what are they
he
doing?
was
That's
like, he told me that was a discount.
Shit.
So,
What?
And all they're doing is filing for
Oh,
what?
well, you in Florida. That's a big immigration state too.
right.
Now here, let me ask this question: is his fee on top of what you got to pay immigration?
That might just be his fee because it was all over the phone.
Because
So I don't know.
Yeah, with immigration, you're gonna be paying about another $2,000.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, so
So it's $2,000 worth of paperwork with the immigration office.
So I might as well do it myself then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because
By the
you
way,
have to
we are in an
file.
open panel mode. The link is fixed to or pinned to the top of my chat. Please hit the link if you guys have any questions. You want to come up and chop it up a little bit on whether your intentions are to get married overseas, whether you are planning on ever getting married, prenup. Was that something that sparked your attention and you're going to do it whether you get married here or abroad? Again, hit the link, hit the likes. If you're in the room, hit the likes.
Yeah, just to let you know, Global Spinner, I think her friend came up kind of at the same time, and our paperwork came back faster. Now, the only thing that held us up wasn't our paperwork because they were screwing us on the citizenship, but that's because COVID had hit, and when she had her green card, like you get a green card for 2 years.
How long does it take to get a green card, by the way?
Oh, now they come up with basically, it's a money grab. Everything is a money grab.
He said it's a money grab for the green card.
No, because they come up with it's just a paperwork stamped on their visa. It's just paperwork. And that just lets them into the United States. So you pay a fee for that. There's that fee you paying just to get them here. Then there's 90 days. Then you have to do what they call a change of status because now they're no longer the
a foreign national. Now they're your wife
married,
or whatever.
So change of status. That change of status gets them the green card. And that green card is valid for 2 years. And what usually the path people take is they've been here 2 years and they change that green card to a 10-year green card. And then you apply for citizenship. But in our case, what happened was the 2-year expired.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID and all that stuff, I think even before that expired before COVID. And then we couldn't get, they just kept sending a piece of paper out saying it's extended. It's extended. Because we was going on cruises and all of that. But every time we had, it was
what's the rule about them traveling out of the United States once they get here?
No.
Because I heard something about you had to stay here and you couldn't leave or.
You do have to stay. And they used to be free when we filed, but they have since changed it after I talked to Black Man Travel. So what I mean by free is there is a separate paper that you file called a work visa and a travel visa. And you should file all that together. So when you do a change of status, you file both those paperworks. And it'll come back with a social security card that says, it'll say something like, this is only valid for work, something crazy like that. So that's what they can use for work. And then you can have a travel visa, which is like a piece of paper that says when they leave that they can come back. So, when they would come through. And that piece of paper is basically what we carried, everywhere we had to go. Like we go on cruises because they never updated it. So the paper they would never update. Then it just got to the point where they would you know, when it got to 3 years or 5 years, we went to immigration, and the guy's like, "Well, you at 5 years, why apply for a green card? Just apply for citizenship." So that was still like 2 years, and it wasn't that. It was just a slow process, and I'll tell you why it was a slow process. So Trump, your buddy, immigration is funded. It is immigration is funded independent, meaning
Right.
the fees they collect pays for itself. So it pays for the agents, and it pays. You know, it's a self-sufficient agency. He started taking money from there to do other things with. And so that's why, you know, a lot of them was like, we don't have no money. Might not have a job, because he was taking money from the agency. So it was no longer funded through itself. And that was the slow process. But just to let you know, man, you're paying for everything. You're paying once you get here. You're paying for a change of status. You're paying for that travel visa. You're paying for the work visa. You're paying for, they got to get medical care to a special doctor, not just one you think, oh, let's go to the neighborhood doctor. There are special doctors that they have to go to get medically checked and get certain vaccinations in their country. They have to go here and pay another $100 and something for their bios. So it's like facial print, fingerprint, something like that for them to do their background. All of those things is costing you money. It is a payment.
That's a lot to think about.
It's a lot, yeah. But if you think about it later and you get married in her country, you're still gonna have to go through that process. You just, you know, you're just extending it. So,
so it's a, you know, I don't think people understand that going through the process. Let's see, I'm looking it up now. Yeah, all right. K1 visa for the first petition, $675. Hope she don't have kids. Your medical examination is $100 to $400. Your adjustment form, that's what I was saying. So you paid that $675 for her to get here, plus another $400. Then you have the adjustment status. That's the I-485. That's the one you say, oh, now we got to change the status. That's $1,500. So let's see what the travel visa is. Yeah, work permit is how they do it.
What if you don't want her to work?
But
I ain't bringing her back here to get a fucking job.
But it's how they get their
know
social
what I'm
security
saying?
number. Also, an additional, you know, after arriving in the U.S. and marrying, the cost to handle the green card, the work permit, you know, that's another $1,000. So it says, in addition to costs associated with the K1 visa, the cost to get a green card after the couple is married can be as much as $3,000. So it is. Yeah, I dated some nice Colombian chicks. I've dated some girls in Colombia. Pretty nice. The ones I dated were nice. Yeah, but why don't you do this, Spinner? Just go on, and I think it's called I-29F. Let's see. I don't think I can put that in the post.
I-29F.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I-129.
129F. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just look at the form. And you can see what you're really filling out. And basically, it's just going to be like her information that you need to get.
Okay.
So, I mean, it goes through it. Like, I'm looking at it right now. It's just basically information about you, names you've used, her name. I'm going to just where you lived at, where she lives at, your employment history. You know, your parents, information about them, just things like that. Almost like you would be filling out a birth certificate for somebody.
Ooh, I just asked ChatGPT, is there any special considerations for military or veterans for expedited on different things. And yeah, they have a whole helpline and a process for expediting visas and requests for veterans. So I was like,
And I
oh,
think
Yeah, I know a dude that's he's in DC right now. His he just got married to a woman from Kenya, a young woman from Kenya, and his process was relatively really fast. I think like 6 months or something. And I'm sure he had some assistance because I've never seen one go that fast before, you know. But he's currently in the military. He's not a veteran
yeah,
yet.
it's active and veteran,
Yeah.
both the same process.
so. D Ward says something good. He says, you know, she would change if you relocate her here, but did you vet her, and how much will she change? Is she a weak woman? So I ask you guys, you don't think you changed when you go over there? I know I change when I go to other countries. I don't think I'm the
Right.
same person that I am here. Here I'm more in the house. I really don't like to go out. When I go there, I'm more going out. I'm always out every night on the town, finding new things to do. So I think, you don't think that person is going to change? New environment. Of
You're
course, they're
always
going to
going
do
to
something.
change in the environment. I mean, it's a famous thing we say in the Marine Corps: you adapt and overcome. You adapt to your
Mm-hmm.
environment, or you get consumed by it. So of course you're going to adapt to a hotter weather, a hotter climate. Their way of life versus what you're used to doing here. It's totally different.
Correct.
You're not going to conduct yourself the same way you do here in the United States.
Exactly. So of course
And
you're
I
going to
mean, you
change.
got to expect change. I mean, everybody changes, every cycle of time, whether it's every 5 to 10 years, everybody change, whether they evolve and mature and get, more, you know, intellectual savvy, or maybe they change for the better or for the worse. And so change shouldn't be something that we fear. I just think that if you got with a woman that you didn't vet properly or you didn't spend time getting to know her, that's where the real issue. Because I think I heard someone else say before, say if you're out in Thailand and you met a bar girl, right? You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah.
You don't have to worry about if she gonna change. I mean, you're looking at the lifestyle. You can't expect her to have a mentality that you bring her here and she's just gonna be nice, wholesome, and she's gonna, be a good wife and go to work and blah blah blah, because she's not used to that lifestyle.
Correct.
And so,
Correct.
so a lot of these guys will marry these women that they've only known for a short period of time. They haven't vetted them or spent time with their family, and then they just want to, compare them to an American woman or something of that nature. But it's all about the vetting process, really. Um, and you got to expect she's going to change. Hopefully, it's
She
for the
she
better,
better
though.
change, man.
Right.
Because there's some things, for instance, in DR, all right, I'll tell you what. When I go to Colombia, I go get usually, like, if I go to Bogota, there's a place I go to where I get a manicure, pedicure. Even though I ain't got no hair, do to shave me, and the woman to wash my scalp. And I think I walk out of there paying $9. My tip is probably more than what my payment is because it's so cheap.
Yeah.
Now, like when my wife came, and I was like, "Oh yeah, to go get your Dominican blowout, that's $100." She's like, $100. Like, it was just like mind blowing. Like, they charge $100 to do what cost me $4 in my country. And I was like,
Right.
"Oh yeah, you're gonna get that." Then your nails are $60, your pedicure another, and it was like you're gonna walk out of there with 200 some dollars. So she was like, "Well, I'm gonna learn how to do this, on my own."
Right.
It's like, well,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spend that kind of money on that. I can use that money
Man, I've
for
been
other
cutting my hair
things.
for almost 35 years, bro.
So you hope that they adapt, because if they still try to live that same lifestyle, even in Thailand, I had a friend in Thailand, and he makes money, and he basically, I was asking, like, your wife don't cook? He's like, nah. He's like, the food is so cheap, we just eat out every day.
Yeah.
He making six figures, but to him, it's like, man, if I'm eating this and this $3 here, $3, even if I'm spending, a few dollars a day, $10 a day, it would cost me more. The way he was explaining it would cost him more to buy all the ingredients and then try to cook it. It was just cheaper to go out and get it. And so imagine his wife coming to the United States who never cooked, who don't know cooking, and all she knows is, well,
Right.
we ate out every day. You better hope she changes. So, it's just, I think and even over there, some things change. They go out, their lifestyle there is, I live to enjoy myself, where we work, and
Right.
then it's like, oh man, maybe one day on the weekend we'll go out a month. They don't look at life like that. It's like Wednesday. Oh, it's Wednesday. It's a reason to go out. It's Friday. My birthday, us, like, I know if I have a birthday on Wednesday, we celebrate like on Friday or the weekend. I was asking a girl before that, I was like, why you going out today? Why you going on Wednesday? They're like, because Wednesday is my birthday. Like, it was like, but you got to go to work tomorrow and y'all staying out till 2 a.m? Like, yeah, it was just,
Right.
it's my birthday. That's when we going out. Like, okay.
And I think that's the only thing that I'm concerned about is that, when I'm here in the States, I'm always working, working a lot, multiple jobs, hustling. And so she's not used to that. She's used to seeing me
Right.
when I'm there for like 2 weeks to a month, or
And that's what you got to get used to. See, what
Right.
I'm saying, when people say they change, you're not the same. You're on vacation mode when you're there. And she's only seeing you on vacation mode. Like, oh, I'm
Absolutely.
relaxed, I'm chilling. Where do you want to go? You want to do anything? So when you come here, you're the one that's actually changing because you're not on vacation mode anymore. You're in a whole different mindset. I got to work. I got to get this thing done. I got to do this. And so she may look at you like, hold up, that's not the fun global spinner I know.
Right.
Now that's a business part of the global spending.
Right.
That's the part that got you over here. You get what I'm saying?
And let's break this down for the people who don't understand. Your mistress, she was cool being your mistress. You only seen her, sometimes, once a month. Besides, she getting busy, she doing all that. She's like, this. I love being the mistress. When you make that mistress your woman, it ain't the same.
Right.
Because you're not seeing her. You only seeing her when it was fun.
Right.
Now you got to see her all the time. And that might not be the same woman all the time. That that 20% was great. That other 80 may not be what you want to deal with.
But then that goes back to why I think, like we're having this discussion about prenups and planning, financial planning, getting married. A lot of guys are not going over there looking for wives. And I know that, he's not here to speak for himself. Black Man Travels. A lot of these guys are going over just to have fun. And so I think when you do get one that has fun with the bar girl or whatever, and he try to wife her up, that's where the problem comes, because she wasn't.
A lot of guys are not planning on doing that, and they're not initially, but they're out there shooting up the club.
Right.
They ain't putting condoms on. They leaving
I
kids
think what
around.
happens is they out there having fun and they doing all of that. Then they meet that one bar girl that's different. that's what happens.
She's special.
Yeah, who was the one guy who was dating that girl for a long time over in Thailand that everybody was talking about? It's a nice, no Diddy, but he wasn't.
You talking about Travelversity? What are you talking about?
Travelversity or Zoom to Thailand?
No, not Zoom to Thailand. There's a black guy, and man, what was that girl's name?
What she look like? If you
Probably
describe her,
Travelversity. You probably talking about Travelversity.
is she short with a nice butt or whatever?
Yeah, she's a little bit thicker.
Yeah, that's Travelversity.
So just think, what happened to him? He wasn't like a bad looking guy.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying they broke up. He wasn't.
Oh,
a bad
no.
guy.
No, they didn't break
They're
up.
together.
They still together. Yeah.
So you might be thinking about. Are you thinking about Chocolate Man in Thailand?
I'll find
The
out.
light skinned brother that's got the skinny chick that's tattooed up.
Nah, she's not skinny, but I'm gonna find out.
See, there's too
Yeah,
many of
because
them over there right now,
Travelversity,
bro.
they still
You got
together.
us saying names of people and shit. We dropping real names.
I'm looking.
We don't normally do
But
that.
you know what though, Ronan? Those are people that we're cool, that we support.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, it's just more
Right.
publicity for them. So
I'm gonna find out who this is.
I actually like some of their content, so it's pretty good.
Right. I dropped in the chat what the expedited process and helpline they have for veterans. So if you're a veteran that's following my page, you look in the chat, there is additional help if you're trying to bring a foreign spouse back to the United States that can help you get it done probably quicker, more efficiently. That's the great thing about serving your country. You get so many advantages after you get done.
Right.
And out of the country. I mean, I get an advantage for being in the Philippines to become a permanent resident there. I don't have to do as much as over there that I would in Thailand even.
But you know what?
Bank accounts and
Philippines
all
is
that.
a unique dynamic, though. You know what I'm saying? Like we said, that's a special case situation because, you know, they don't believe in divorces in the Philippines. They do accept annulments, but they're hard to attain. That's a different dynamic than these other countries, you know.
That's true. Very true.
And I always thought that if I ever met and married someone from the Philippines, I better doggone make sure I really like her. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a good relationship because, you know, it ain't easy to get out of that.
Oh, it is on your behalf. You can go back to the United States, file your paperwork, then go back to their country and file it with their state so they can release her from being married. Even if you file for divorce here in the United States, they would grant you the divorce, no fault divorce at that, because they don't have any rights here like that. You can literally file without her being here. They would grant a divorce. You would have to take that divorce back to the Philippines, hand her a copy of it, and follow up with her to get it done in their country to recognize the divorce as being legitimate. And they would let her out of the Cinemar, claiming that she was still married. If you didn't do that inside of her Cinemar, she would always show she was married.
But you know what? That's still some things you got to do. You have some work to do. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What you reading on? You shaking your head like, God damn, I can't.
No,
believe
I'm
it.
just thinking how hard. Well, that's good. They kind of might make that hard for y'all, but you know,
Yeah.
it's still the same. Still the same.
Yeah, because it's not legal. They have it on the books for the last 20 years for divorce in the Philippines, and they still don't recognize. They will not let you file for divorce there.
But you know what?
You can
Never
get an
say never,
annulment.
though. These countries are changing, you know. So
A lot of them are, yes.
You know, I was surprised when I heard that Colombia is now allowing no fault divorces. So as we start talking about these countries not being westernized and being influenced by United States, Canada, and Europe, they're very much transitioning. Brazil, Colombia, DR, these countries are changing. And so some of the advantages that the guys might have had 5 years ago or 10 years ago, they don't have those same advantages.
Yeah, you right, D Ward. They're all over the place on them bases, brother. Believe me, every woman that's on that base, if she ain't an American, she definitely a foreign national working there because she has either a husband or she got in on the base because she's looking for one. Believe me, those foreign bases are full of them. They looking to either lock you down or they already locked down.
Man.
I think that, you know, and this is not on the topic, but I think I just don't really care for the mess that's going over there. Like Philippines is pretty chill environment. You know, I've been there this past summer. Over in Thailand, especially Pattaya, man, I feel like too much drama is going on in that side.
I mean, Black Man Travels goes into saying you can go to Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Isan, and some other
Man,
ones.
even in Pattaya, I didn't. All right, explain to me what's going on because I was just there when you say something's going on.
Oh, there's a lot of brothers that are getting into altercations there. They're fighting like BMT. Aaron BMT got in a fight with this guy named Starbull just the other day.
But here's the thing: I'm trying to figure out. You don't have to run into nobody.
Right.
I was, I didn't run into nobody. I just did my thing.
Right.
So in July, I was there in Thailand, and I avoided the whole Pattaya stuff. I was in Phuket, so I left Manila and I
You know
went.
that Bert, that's my Bert Rosser. That's his favorite spot,
Yeah,
Phuket side,
and
where the
he
Russians
kind
and the
of
white
dropped
folks
that.
are.
Exactly. And Bert kind of dropped the dime on me on that.
Right.
So I went over to Phuket and it was really chill. Matter of fact, the area that I was in, I think it was called Laguna somewhere. It was primarily Russians and Europeans in
Yeah,
that area.
right. Was you in the walking street right there? Was
Nope,
you
I
near
was
walking
nowhere
street?
near a walking street. I was in a whole community that was like private, gated community. It was nothing but Russians and
Yeah, that's the
townhomes.
side. The Russians and the Arabs are on that side, man. They know.
And I
That's
ain't had
In
no
the
problem.
fact,
I
in
spent my
fact, if I
time right
wanted to
on
go
Walking
to
Street.
if I wanted to go to a walking street, I would have to hire a Uber or a Grab taxi to take me like 20, 30 minutes to it
Oh
because I
no,
was so far away from
I was right when I say I was 1 foot away from the strip. That's
God
where my
damn.
hotel was. Yeah, it was. You turned the corner and you right there. So I came out right there, and I didn't
I think if
have
I was to even go,
no
I would
issue.
probably want to stay in Jomtien Inn
But I didn't have no
versus
problem.
staying.
It's like I could party, I could walk, I could go out and eat, and then if
it. Right.
I just turned the corner, and the beach was right there, so I could spend my day on the beach, my night on the strip. Uh, I didn't have no issue. I mean, I guess when you just don't look for no issue, I didn't
Right.
have any issue when I was even in. I think the only thing about Pattaya, it was hot as hell, man. That place was hot during the day. Um, but no issue there. And I basically just walked everywhere. Chiang Mai was a little cooler. I don't think as much is going on in Chiang Mai, but that's where I went to like the elephant sanctuaries and things like that.
Yeah.
Um,
I did that in
Bangkok
Phuket.
is off the chain. See, Phuket is like the islands. You go to
Right.
little islands. You get away, and so it's nice.
But you know
Um,
what? They actually have a little elephant sanctuary there too in
hmm
Phuket. Because I know I actually had a woman, a private driver, and she took me before we went to the elephant sanctuary. She took me to a gun range, which was crazy because,
hmm
I remember we were going to a mall. She was like, "Hey, I'll wait for you, or just text me when you're ready." She came back, picked me up, and then she was like, "Do you shoot?" And at first, when she told me that, I was like, "Shoot what?" Like, and then she's like, "I go to the gun range. I'll take you to mine." I was like, "Okay." So she took me to the gun range. I paid for a round for her and myself separately, which was cool. And then after that, it was kind of like drizzling and raining because I went in July. She took me to an elephant sanctuary. I got some content on my channel on that, and it was cool. It was cool. Only thing I didn't like is I was at the time of year was like the monsoon season, so it
Yeah.
rain stop. But it still was a beautiful area. It was chill. Um, I definitely want to go back to Phuket. I know if I go back to Thailand, I'm probably going to spend time in, like Bangkok, Chiang Mai. If I do go to like a Pattaya, I probably will be there 1-2 days max and moving on.
Yeah, I mean it's just different. Now, I will say now my cheapest massages were in Pattaya.
Okay.
They was the cheapest. They was the best, except for Chiang Mai did have. But I went to it's crazy. I went to a blind a blind person. It was a blind school where they do massage,
Oh
but
wow.
it was
I guess that's a
still
little
good.
impersonal, so you don't have to worry about,
I mean, but here's the thing: they know by touch. They know
Right.
is so you got somebody who's like, all right, I can feel where you got some stress, or you're gonna take this out, and so I had no problem with those guys
Yeah.
and
And I
females.
do understand why guys, like Bird and everybody fall in love with. Because when I was there 4 days, man. When I tell you I had like a massage every day,
Oh, I had
then
every
we
day,
go into
twice a day
different
sometimes.
restaurants. I'm going to farmers markets. And then I walked past a dentistry and I went and got my teeth cleaned while I was there. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, it was a real chill environment. I really enjoyed my time in Phuket.
I think what I would do, I didn't have enough luggage this time when I went. I think if I go the next time, I will bring like an extra suitcase because I want to get, they were the suits that they were selling.
Mm.
You
yeah,
can get $100
they get some
fitted
good
suit,
suits,
man.
right?
Right.
So
I
I
Yeah, I
think
think
was thinking
that's
about
how
doing that every time I did a border run from the Philippines. I was going to fly over and get a couple suits made, maybe a tat, and
right.
then fly back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would do that in Bangkok. I hear they have some nice tailors in that
yeah,
city.
you get fitted up.
And then I think
My,
the other city I went to was Singapore. I went to the country of Singapore, and that's like a city state. And that country was beautiful. Like Singapore is super clean, super neat. It's the
Yeah.
whole city is like a botanical garden.
Yeah, one of the cleanest cities in the world, Singapore. I loved it.
mm-hmm.
And that airport is probably second to none. I think the best airports I've been in my life has been Singapore. They got a full mall there in their airport. And then the other
South
one would have
Korea.
been Qatar, Doha, Qatar. I was there.
South Korea got a big airport. It's like
I
a
haven't been
city.
there
They give
yet.
you
That's on my
they give
list
you a
too.
tour
Yeah,
of
that's on my
their
list too.
of their
Yeah, Singapore is expensive, but that's
place.
okay. I mean, it's all relative.
Right. You can go
But I
there
think
for a
what
couple.
happens is, the guy. So this kind of weird. I think how guys get tricked. To go back to marriage, they go there, and even though we guys, when you run through so many chicks, it starts to get like, damn, man, it,
It's
it,
old
it
and
just becomes the
repetition.
same. Yeah, it gets
Right.
because it's like, yeah, you know, same old chick, different. The game gets old. So I think when they meet somebody who is a little bit different, then all of a sudden they're like, oh man, and they everything else goes out the window. Everything what they think about is going out the window. That story that they talk, oh, I'm doing this for you and I'm doing that, and that's how they get got.
Right.
They catch them when they on a low. That's why it's harder to catch somebody that's like, oh, I'm just on a few weeks vacation, than oh, I've been here and I'm doing it. They start to, and all you have to do is they find some girl who ain't at soy 6.
That don't make
That's
her
it.
safe.
Yeah, but
Right.
I'm saying, it's like, nobody's seen her at soy 6. They, it's somewhere else, and they start catching it. Like, oh man, I got somebody else.
She
That's how
off
they
the
get
strip.
got.
She ain't nowhere near that stuff.
So that's
You
the
know what?
sad
But
part.
even then, with that, they still don't evaluate the woman's lifestyle. Like,
Right. She could
I
be a
think what
freelancer working out of
right,
wherever, but she
and
freelances occasionally because she knows it's easy money. Come
all
on.
the women that I've taken seriously, like seriously dated that lived abroad, most of them had a certain type of class or level about themselves. They were either middle class or college educated, had jobs, and so this thing of you know having fun in vacation mode, meeting a girl on the beach, whether it's Rio or in a bar in Thailand, and then you having those relationship type of conversations, I think that's where they go wrong because you already meeting her in her
Yeah,
element and it's already telling you a lot about her. And so and I'm not knocking the guys who haven't. Some guys probably have married bar girls and had great experiences, but majority of them probably just got used. And so
Odds are against it.
exactly. So
Don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it.
right. But
Too many military guys have already gone through it. Don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it. I don't care how cute she is.
right.
There's 100 of them somewhere else in the country. You don't need that bar girl that's sitting there. She's the one that's immoral. Go find the one out in the province that isn't.
And she got 2 or 3 kids back at home in the province somewhere
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's so
that
weird
she
to
ain't
me,
told you
man.
about.
Right.
That's so weird to me.
Well,
That
but see, that's why the parents get the allowance from the kids because the parents are the built-in babysitters.
Right.
yeah,
And they're supporting them through retirement. So they're out working, they're taking care of the kids. The kids are being raised by the family while the woman is out doing what she's doing,
Yeah.
which is, you know,
Yeah. That's a
making money for
whole
the
nother
family.
man.
Yeah,
nother podcast.
really. But we're pushing into an hour and 56 seconds or 56 minutes. We had the panel open for a while. Nobody's choosing to come up. So what do you guys say? I don't know. I don't want to beat a dead horse.
Nah,
You know what I'm saying?
we'll let it
Keep
go.
repeating some of the things. But I think we brought out some really good points and some thought processes. If you guys are serious about dating overseas and getting married, prenup is definitely should be in a conversation.
Right.
You know, and even if you get too enthralled, a postnup also applies. You know what I mean? Salute the Style King, pulling up. Appreciate you, brother.
And I think some of you guys are just telling you. We just went over that today. Don't think. I think you guys think you're scot free or you're doing something different. If you say, "Oh, I'll marry her over there," that ain't always going to save you, man. So I think that's you're trying to eliminate your risk. That doesn't always save you by trying to get married in their country.
Right.
Because if you got a slick one, they know exactly what to do.
Oh, they'll work the system and they'll play the long game too. I mean, like I
And
said,
here goes the crazy thing. So what you guys don't think about. Who you think that they going, you know, look, I've been in DR and I've seen things and I'm like, I've seen guys like, not even an accident. An accident would mean like there's injury. Like somebody got tapped. And all of a sudden, all these Dominicans ran and start pointing at the foreigner. He's like, hold up, I ain't had nothing to do with this.
right?
The police,
Payday.
the police come. Who you think they believe in? And everybody
All
getting
those-
paid.
Mhm.
Yeah, all the locals. The police getting paid because he's like, well, you want this to go away, don't you? So you guys think, oh, I'm in this other country. Don't you think she know the laws? Don't you think she know how to make things work? The lawyers to get, what lawyer can do this? And you think, oh, I'm scot-free. You may not, because in other countries, it's not always the law that's fair. It's, there's other ways to get
It
around.
definitely ain't the law that's fair in a lot of countries. It's all about what you got in your pockets to get away with it.
And you know what? I think maybe this was like a year or two ago. I heard Dennis Sperling say something about that. He was saying that when you get married in her country, the laws are in her favor because she's a citizen and you're not.
Exactly.
And so that's one thing that I don't hear a lot of guys talking about is that if you go to family court in her country, it's different ways she can probably screw you over, and they can sympathize for her because, hey, we're looking out for our citizens. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing you need to keep in mind.
And just think about the guys who not get married. Think about your Jay Rillos that leave out, and the chick says, 100? Nah, brother.
Yeah, you're gonna pay me 3. Yeah, you're gonna wind up paying me 3 by the time you get
like, I ain't paying it. I ain't paying it.
Okay.
Oh, you ain't gonna pay? Oh, then
I
they
bring
just
my
start,
buddies to Popo over here.
Well, first they just gonna wreck the room. They start throwing everything. What you gonna do? You gonna put your hands on it and you going to jail in a foreign country? They already know. They already know you gonna pay me, and so they know how the law works. They gonna get there and they gonna be speaking that Spanish you can't translate on no translator because it's too fast and hood words that you ain't never heard that Google Translate can't do it. And you looking there like tell them yeah, they're like, yeah, whatever.
And some of these girls that these guys are messing with, they got family members that are police officers that are in the military and stuff. Right.
Think about this. They seen you one time. These chicks in Sosua or in Medellin or whatever, they there every day.
Every day.
They in the same places every day.
Right.
You don't think they have a relationship? Even if
all I gotta say is, if American women can weaponize the laws and the police against you, why the hell do you not think that the foreign women can do the same goddamn thing?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can.
Especially if her cousin is one of the police officers that she called to pull up.
Exactly. So don't think you're safe over there. Here, you can always say, well, the laws are just like fair. I mean, if you want to say fair.
I'm saying in Southern America, South America, you're not necessarily safe. Asian countries are a lot more tolerable. You ain't getting threatened the same way over there.
Right.
Okay. You got to really do some fucked up shit in Asia to piss a chick off. You know what I mean?
Just protect yourself, guys.
But it's getting there though. Alex is getting there.
I know.
Maybe not the
No.
Philippines, but in
No.
Thailand.
There was somebody that just got scoped in the Philippines or Thailand, one of the two.
Oh, really?
Didn't they
Oh.
do something crazy over there? That's like about a week ago. Something came up.
Well,
Or
this
a
scoping.
Thailand chick jumped on some dude and beat him up or
Oh,
whatever.
wow.
Yeah, it was something crazy that just happened not more than about a week ago over in Asia. And I'm like, that's out of character. But God only knows, man. Like I said, those chicks are very. I mean, the people are very tolerable. You had to do something really effed up to get them to go that far with it. Because saving face is a big thing to them.
But you figure the more, our Western culture, man, is starting to influence everybody.
Yeah.
That TV they watch, that,
Yeah,
so be careful.
I agree with you. All right, fellas,
the
closing
game.
remarks. We're at 2 hours, 2 minutes. Nobody chose to hit the link. So we're going to go ahead and shut it down. Let you guys have your Friday night to yourselves. And we'll mosey on down the road.
All right.
Yeah. Well, guys, I appreciate it.
No problem, man. Appreciate this topic, man. Like I said, if you guys have topics you want to chop it up with us on, you can hit either myself or Fearless in the back chat or in a comment, and we'll put you on the panel. We'll have a conversation. We don't have a problem with doing that.
Definitely.
Let me know if you need some help with that paperwork, brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna be getting it out pretty soon. Sometime this year. So.
So you get close from our conversation. You really contemplating it.
Yeah, I'm really thinking about it this year sometime. So,
okay.
I was telling you that before that I was thinking about going there for a year, maybe this summer.
Yeah. You were talking about trying to do a dual thing where you go there for a while and then possibly bring her back and let her see. But you already said she don't really want to live in America, so that's even a better.
Right. So that's a plus. So she's cool.
She'll tolerate it, but she don't want to be here.
Right.
Which is the best situation you can have. A woman that don't want to be here. But then that means you need to already be set with your resources and your assets. You need to be close to retirement unless you plan on working online or in another country. Right.
Now, a lot of guys go over there and do the digital nomad thing and they'll just work. And then
you can be a teacher online or you can go to a university and possibly teach English, being that you're an English teacher or whatever. And maybe you can get, something going on that way. But
But I want to be able to go over there and be able to have some purchasing power, be able to buy some land, maybe a property or something like that. And so, I'm trying to organize some things with that. And I'm just trying to figure if I want to do something like that before marriage or after marriage because of that, if I want to add that to a prenup. So we'll see.
All right. Well,
So
again, we appreciate the idea, Global Spinner. You're more than welcome to come back on the panel anytime. I know this is Lions Den, but we also have Thursday night therapy session. We have hit and run shows that we do. Fearless has got a brand new, whole new channel with a lot of comments. I don't know if you got one queued up. You want to show them and expose them to the level of sarcastic comedy that you do on these rebuttals and these rants. I'll let them cue one up.
10 seconds. Let me
By the way, we got a girl on Thursday night this week, white Hispanic chick, coming up for Thursday night therapy session. She's pretty talented when it comes to helping people focus on business. And so we're looking to have a nice conversation and bring in some other women and some other cultures into the conversations that we have. So that's one of the things we want to do in 2025 is kind of change the atmosphere and not necessarily not focus on Black travel, but overall travel in a worldly community with multiple different people involved in the conversation. You got it queued up yet?
Exactly. Let me see if I can get. Yeah, I'll do the New Year's resolution because it is New Year's. We won't go too long with it. I'll just give y'all a few minutes. Well, maybe I'll do the marriage one. Yeah, we'll do the one from yesterday.
And drop your link in the chat so they can click on it and go and follow your page.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it for you.
Channel, doing that. Just some funny things I want to be able to do. Edit. Here we go. a little more off the topic, serious, but because every time I spit in this microphone, it's like poetry in motion. Hit that subscribe button and buckle up, because every video I drop packs a punch and you don't want to miss it. And when I was 13 years old, I was playing hide and go get it with the babysitter. Ended up knocking her ass up. Fast forward about 30 years, I'm on a business trip to the Caribbean. I met this little booty Latina. She just kept calling me Papacito, Capacito. She said she knew how to cook, suck, and shut the fuck up. That's the only requirements I need to get her a green card. So I brought her back to the States, kept her away from all them westernized women, and we traveled the world for about 5 years, till she kept saying, I'm tired of calling you Papacito. I want somebody to call you Daddy. Daddy? I can't be nobody's daddy. Don't you know I'm at the age where there's Viagra and Social Security and I'm right in the middle? The one thing about Latinas, that squeeze game is tighter than some vice grips. And I gotta admit, my pull-out game ain't what it used to be. So consequently, she got pregnant. I'm claiming a child until I get the DNA test. So that's 2 kids, 1 generation spread out over 30 years. In this video, I'm gonna give you the good, the bad, the pros, the cons, the everything versus having the children when you old or when you're young. Now, if you like the knowledge that I'm spitting, make sure you subscribe. Hit the button here, or wherever the hell it's at. Put a hand in the comment section so I can give your ass a high five. And if you like this knowledge, hit that notification bell so you can hear all the gems of my latest content. The rule number 1 before we ever get started. If you're gonna have a kid, make sure you marry before you carry. That means finding a good woman to procreate with. Because if you knock up one of them hood rats, like I did, your kid will turn out a hood rat. And you'll spend much of your time fighting with the mom because you'll never get to see your kid. And to all you do is out there creating single moms, and then 10 years later when you think you done leveled up so you can't date a single mom, what the fuck are you doing? Now, since I always like to end on a positive note, we're gonna start with the negative stuff. And why you wait until you're getting grays in your hair to become a dad? So what are the bad things about having a child when you're older? First, diaper duties. Yeah, you got to change diapers. Now, while you changing your kid's diaper, your wife gonna be changing your diapers because you got a loose bladder. You can't even hold it no more. Pee stains in the underwear. I hope you like to play games, because my kid loves to play games. One of the games is hide daddy's dentures. You don't know where they at. Made it flush them down the toilet. So you better hope your wife can cook some soft meat, because you ain't gonna have no teeth to eat that meat. And all you dudes who thought you could live forever, drinking that OE, St. Ides, Mad Dog 2020 in your 20s, thinking it wouldn't catch up to you, well, that shit gonna catch up to you. All them old burgers you ate, that jungle juice you used to drink, it was good when you're in your 20s, but wait till you get to your 50s. It's a whole different ball game. Yep, you better stay healthy. You better try to stay healthy. You don't want your children visiting you in a nursing home every other weekend while your wife entertained another dude in your house. Oh yeah, when you was young, your sperm used to shoot 5 feet across the room. Now you lucky if you can get it up out the head. Oh, when you have that daughter, you're gonna be a proud father on her wedding day. Man, you get to walk her down the aisle. No, because you can't walk no more. You're crippled, your knees hurt. Somebody got to roll you in a wheelchair down the aisle. Think about that. You've been spending your years behind that cozy desk job. You ain't did no hard. I'm just going to give y'all an introduction. I want, if you like it, if you think this is something y'all can roll with, you know, entirely different, go to the new channel. I give a lot more advice just in a fast, quick way, you know, things you should, New Year's rules, reason, like got a few videos, think like a rich kid. How you gonna raise your kid to be rich? Stuff like that, you know, quick, give you a dose of medicine. But yeah, I tell you what, I'll play this one because this will tell you exactly what the channel is about. Makes it a little bit easier for you. Then we'll get you up out of here, guys. I'll not share the screen. Cancel that. So you say, what is it about? This is a little bit easier. Maybe. Here we go. This. You ever drink Kool-Aid? Oh, it's sweet, smooth, and goes down easy. Now imagine someone slipped a little medicine in your drink. You wouldn't even notice it, right? That's what I do. I serve up stories, funny, sharp, and packed with metaphors so rich it's like seasoning to your brain. And we're gonna laugh together, but don't get it twisted. There's a message to this madness. Maybe it hits you right away, or maybe it sneaks up on you later when you're driving home or staring up at your ceiling at 2 a.m. Either way, my goal is simple. Make you think, make you grow, and leave better than when you arrived. Now here's the thing. The truth can be bitter, but it doesn't always have to be hard to swallow. I mix it up, sweeten the dose with some wit and humor, and by the time I'm done, you've got a new perspective and maybe a smile on your face. That is the magic, and that is the mission. Now, let me hit you with some real talk. This is a two-way street. You sipping on this Kool-Aid, laughing, learning, leveling up, and that's all love. But here's the deal. If this hits different for you, If you caught a gem or even cracked a smile, I need you to show me some love back. Now you hitting that subscribe button, it's like pulling a chair up to the table. Tap that like. It's like your way of saying, yeah, baby, this is hitting right. And drop me a comment, because I want to hear what's on your mind. Let's make this a conversation and not a monologue. This isn't just content, it's a vibe, it's a community, and you are a part of it. So go ahead, make your move. Let's grow, laugh, and learn together. Are you in?
There you go.
There it is.
I think that's awesome, man.
Trying to do something different, brother. Trying to 2025, we're trying to be a little more positive, bring brothers.
Oh yeah.
Message.
Okay, definitely already subscribe.
I appreciate it, my friend.
All right, brothers. We're gonna go ahead and close this down. We're 2 hours and 11 minutes in, and we appreciate everybody coming and joining. If you're on the replay crew, appreciate y'all dropping that like and hitting the comment section. Appreciate y'all coming back and following up with us. I know there's a lot of choices out there, and sometimes we're competing against some bigger channels, but we definitely appreciate y'all following back up and doing the replay on us. We get a lot of replays, so we appreciate it. Drop a like in the comment. Like I said, a comment.
This, guys, them other channels so big they don't even read your damn comments. Right. We ain't even that big yet. We're gonna read your comments.
Facts.
See?
All right.
Well, do we have extra music to take us up out of here? You just going cold turkey and hitting the button, brother.
We're going cold turkey.
All right. We'll see you later.
Salute. Bye.
Don't leave, Global.
Pat.